Greetings, YouTube. You know, I have done 1,300 videos now on my YouTube channel, most of which, of course, are Marvel Contest of Champions related. And I have never received more requests for a specific issue in a video than what I am attempting to address in this video. And part of the reason why so many people request it is because there's no easy answer, and it is a huge problem that I feel like Kabam has kind of just ignored, and Alliance War Seasons has made it so dang stressful for officers recruiting members. I don't envy officers at all in this new era of the game because you have to trust strangers to not hijack your alliance, and there's just no way to do it guaranteed. You just have to cross your fingers and hope you don't get screwed. And believe it or not, 99% of the stories that I receive about alliances being hijacked, I never publish. I just deal with those internally, normally with the person or alliances involved in the lineup. But it's happening more and more. And it's happening because people have vendettas. Alliance War Seasons has actually been so stressful and so anxiety prone that there are certain alliances that are convinced that there are moles that get sent to them by new recruits with these amazing profiles, and they're only there for one purpose, and that's to spy on the alliance, to try to get everything from defensive pictures to trying to do illegal things to get the alliance banned or to cost them important war points. And maybe some of this is just paranoia, but the fact that these theories are so prevalent in the community speaks to a larger cultural issue of not being able to depend on reliable people bringing in that can totally wreck a great alliance. And we know it only takes one person to wreck an alliance, and we also know because of the rules that Kabam has set forth with non-disclosure details that when an alliance gets wrecked by a member, they will never ever reveal who it was that cost the alliance the docked points or even what they did, and those alliances are left to be as paranoid as ever that there is a snake in their midst, and if no one leaves the alliance, you know somebody did something allegedly that cost the alliance the chance to get the same amount of rewards, especially in Alliance War, but they don't know what it is or who it is. It is a culture of paranoia and a culture of the opposite of fun. Some things put the FU in fun. This is one of them. So, it is with that gigantic disclaimer that I have created this video in which I have taken pages of notes and talked to several people over the course of several weeks to try to figure out how best to serve the community with this growing problem. Now, this is going to be titled something like How to Find the Right Alliance for You, because right off the top, this is not a video that, of course, is going to be a blanket need for everyone, because everyone's needs are different. You might be somebody new that's just trying to figure out what the heck an alliance is and make some friends. You might be somebody who is in an alliance that you've made a lot of friends, but it's going literally nowhere and no one is reliable, and you're just looking to figure out how you can improve and actually not tick off all your friends, but find a better alliance that actually has people who care. Or you might do the opposite. Everybody might care too much, and you might be in a platinum alliance where if you die in Alliance War, you're treated like that of a leper, and instead of being cast out for your quote-unquote lack of skills, you might be looking to downgrade to a chill retirement alliance with people who aren't going to straight up act like they're going to murder you if you don't clear your path with 0 deaths. No matter what your situation is, the same rules apply to finding a good alliance, and that's what brings me to wanting to create this video in the first place for the sake of helping the community in the months and hopefully even years to come. So, I have written down 3 main places that people try to find alliances in. The first is the global chat. In fact, I still think officers, even in my alliance, will spam the global chat looking for certain people. Say you want to do map 5 times a week, and these are the donations, and this is the Alliance War tier. Whatever the case may be, you're basically putting out a free Craigslist ad in what I consider to be the Marvel Contest of Champions equivalent of the Wild West meets Tinder. All these sketchy profiles, people just going through, so much spam involved, so many bots. It is a ugly way of trying to find people, and yet it is still one of the only somewhat reliable means to recruit. Then, of course, you've got different recruitment threads, different recruitment alliance channels, different discussion groups on things like the Line app, where you ask enough people and they'll say, hey, I'm in this chat that recruits people. Maybe you can go here and see if you can help out. And those can be maybe more reliable than global, but if you don't have access to those specific ones, and personally, I don't have access to most of them myself, then you're not going to find them and you're not going to be able to find the alliance for you. And then, of course, there is the public alliance, which brings me to the page in front of you, where if you go to the alliance tab, once you've left an alliance, you can see everybody who has a opening and also the alliance rating. Now, alliance rating is a huge deception, because just because you're thinking, I'm going to go from like an 8 million alliance to a 13 million alliance doesn't mean you're automatically going to improve or that you're going to a better alliance. In fact, I have seen more upper tier alliances have issues than lower tier alliances, partially because you bring in these people that have these amazing profiles, like 3 or 4 rank 5 stars, maybe even a rank 2 6-star, but these people aren't active. In fact, they're shady as hell. And they don't communicate, they don't respond. It's sort of like going up to the hottest girl at the bar and saying, hey, you look like someone I could talk to, and then it turns out she not only completely throws a drink in your face, or maybe she's just a hologram that disappears in a few seconds. Maybe that's the weirdest analogy I've ever had on my channel, and dang, that's saying something, but we're going to move on. So I have written down a couple of questionnaires that I would like to discuss now. So let's say that you think you found the alliance for you, whether that be a master alliance or a stone alliance. I think that's the lowest form. There are certain questions that you need to be asking the officers before you ever join. You need to not be impatient to just rush into something that could be a bad fit or could eventually just cause you more burnout. Because sometimes people will leave their alliances because, let's face it, they're burnt out of the game and they're going to retire or semi-retire, as we call it in this community. So I believe that dealing with alliances, as I've said in past videos, is no different than you would a new relationship or even a job. So you need to look at looking for a new alliance as looking for a job. And the right fit and the right culture where everybody is working as a team together is so exciting to be at. But a terrible culture where half the people complain about the alliance and do nothing but basically cause drama, and then you're having to basically pull teeth just to get people to place their defenders or jump into alliance quest or alliance war attack. And then, of course, there are so many issues, and every alliance I've been in has these issues to a certain extent, but some are really bad, about just having to basically beg people to get in their donations on time. And you know there are certain people who never get them on time. It's sort of like paying rent late. And they've taken advantage of the system so much because maybe they're best friends with the alliance leader that you're just stuck with these lazy losers who are never going to be good members but are also never going to be kicked out. Those are the alliances that you want to avoid. And if you're nodding your head at some of the things I just said because you're in one of those alliances, you need to use this video as a wake-up call to start enjoying the game more, because nothing will drain your energy faster than being with a bunch of lazy losers and a terrible alliance atmosphere. But if I was to leave this alliance, which for the record I am not, I'm very happy in my alliance. It is the perfect alliance for me. It fits my needs. We're able to do map 5 every day, and I'm very successful not having to burn through a bunch of items to clear all my paths. I'm still good at taking down the bosses, and most importantly, it's an alliance that's not going to crucify me the minute I die in alliance war, because they understand that deaths happen, and that is very important to me and my own sanity in this game. But let's say that I left this alliance and I was looking for a different Gold 1 alliance, because I do think that for my skills and my lifestyle with teaching college classes is what fits me the best. I would first off figure out who the alliance leader is and or officers. And I would ask them this question: how long has your alliance been around? How long have you all existed? Because Alliance War Seasons is all about massive turnover at this point. So if the alliance has existed for like a year and still going strong, they've survived a ton of really dysfunctional months of Alliance War Season turnover. And that's impressive to me. If they just started a month ago, they really haven't been through the ringer like some of those more experienced alliances. And because those experienced alliances have survived, this leads me to the second question. How many core members do you have? How many of you have been together since the beginning? If you're in an alliance of 30 members and 22 of them are core members, that is a fantastic foundation for an alliance. But if you ask that and they say 2 or 3, that means at any point the alliance could disband. And I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of people who thought they were in a safe alliance and something like 10 people jumped ship in a moment's notice and the alliance disintegrated. That happens more often than you would think. So having a bunch of core members that have stayed together and have not left for greener pastures or have not left because of burnout is a really great sign. And if they don't have that, I would look elsewhere. The third question I've written down is, how much have you grown since forming? Because most people want to grow their roster, and that's why they join an alliance, and they want the alliance to grow with them. One of the first alliances I was in that was a good alliance was full of solid people, but most of them played the game so casually. We're talking like an hour a day. And for a lot of people, I understand that's all the time you have, and that's probably a lot healthier than what I do. But at the same time, they didn't care about ranking up their champs. They didn't care about summoner advancement score. They were just kind of content doing nothing. And after a while, I just got sick of it and felt like I was the only one who was ever contributing a ton of points in summoner advancement or who clearly was growing my roster much faster. And I just left. And I still left the right way. And I've said this in videos before, but if you do have to leave your alliance, you don't want to just ghost them, right? You want to tell everybody, hey, I really appreciate the opportunity. There are several amazing people in this alliance, but I feel like I need to take my talents elsewhere. Don't say that probably like that. You don't want to exit LeBron James Miami Heat style. But at the same time, you want to not just disappear, because even if people are mad at you and feelings are hurt, they'll respect you a lot more in the future if you're upfront and you give them a decent amount of notice than if you basically just all of a sudden leave. I would say this, out of respect for your alliance, if you are thinking about leaving your alliance, wait until the end of Alliance War seasons. Wait until you get the rewards, but most importantly, wait to give your alliance the heads up so that even if it's just a stupid week between off seasons, because Kabam continues to not understand that we need at least double that much time for multiple reasons in terms of alliance turnover, you want to leave during that week of a transition. You don't want to leave your alliance hanging at the end of an Alliance War seasons. So just keep that in mind. Now, speaking of summoner advancement, I would also ask the leader, what's your summoner advancement score look like? Right? Do you all always qualify, or do you only sometimes qualify? And if you don't care about that, then I guess if they don't qualify, you'll be okay with it. But most people do, and you don't want to get stuck where all of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. You actually grind in the arena. You actually rank up champs. That's good, because we will lean on you and use you to get better rewards, as 95% of the rewards will come from you, and we'll do nothing but the bare minimum, because Kabam has also made some mistakes in the past of not having minimums in these alliance events. So you have these, again, lazy losers who do just like one fight of the arena just to get the rewards that 95% of it went from you. So yes, I'm speaking a little bit of bitterness from my past. Thankfully, my alliance now isn't using me in that sense for my arena addiction. And yes, it is an addiction. Next, I would say, especially if you join a new alliance right after Alliance War season is over, give that a 1 to 2 week trial period. Don't go all in. See how active they really are. Anybody can say anything about their alliance and then it not be true. Join a BG. See how you do in Alliance War, see how fast you complete the map in Alliance Quest, and judge for yourself if that's the right spot for you. But I will say this, in general, and this goes for jobs, relationships, and Marvel Contest of Champions, I think people would rather take a chance on someone who has a little bit worse of a roster than ideal, but they're a great active player that wants to grow and learn, than someone that has the best roster ever, but doesn't communicate and isn't reliable. Ultimately, it costs an officer, just like it costs a CEO of a company, a bunch of time and resources to hire someone. It's expensive and it's a pain. So the less openings you have in your alliance, the less you have to worry about recruiting, and the less recruiting, the better, because you're just happier when you don't have to spend all your time and effort constantly recruiting a tremendous amount of turnover. So if you have found the alliance for you, and this is my last tip for this video because I don't want this to be 20 minutes long, if you found the alliance for you and you feel as though this is like a match made in heaven, go ahead and tell this person, hey, look, if you are what you are cracked up to be, I want to stay here for as long as I will play this game. That's going to give that alliance so much confidence to know that you could be there for, instead of a week, like a couple years, right? And they're just going to know they don't have to worry about you. And that is a peace of mind that is priceless in life and certainly in this game. Be somebody who, if you join a good alliance, is loyal, and hope that same alliance is loyal to you. But be warned, just as you see people who ghost alliances all of a sudden, I've seen some really shady alliances at the top, mostly run by kids that finally have power for the first time in their lives, and they abuse it. So, my last point is, if you're older like me, somebody who's maybe in your early 30s or late 20s, you want to be with people who are adults. If you join an alliance with all 14-year-old kids, you're probably going to have a lot of drama, and don't be surprised when it blows up in your face. If you're a 14-year-old kid that wants to make some new friends across the pond, that might be the best alliance ever for you. But if you're an adult and you're with a bunch of kids, you just have to, you get what you expect, right? You get what the environment is going to give you. So there you have it, YouTube. I covered a ton in this video, and I wanted to have it be crammed with information. Maybe it's too crammed with information. I don't know. But if this helps you, that makes me very happy, because this is why I do what I do, and I've covered everything in front of me on my notepad, so I feel as though this is a good time to end the video. Thanks, as always, for supporting my Marvel Contest of Champions YouTube channel and for giving me the ability to serve you, the community, in the best way I know how.